Hey everybody. I'm not sure if people are on yet or jumping on. I'm a minute or two early. And I wanted to speak to sacred rage and feminine awakening. Yesterday I posted about the importance of rage work. Hey Natalie, hey Michael, hello both of you. Yesterday I did a spontaneous post about the importance of rage work and expressing cellular rage in the body as the beginning of a very specific type of awakening. And it's the sort of awakening where, hey Elise, hi love, it's the sort of awakening where we have a story, but we don't know we have a story. And I'm saying we, because I've been there, and if you're watching this, you've probably been there too. We have a story, but we don't know that we have a story. We might feel sort of frozen or anxious or depressed or dead on the top level. Something feels off in our emotional body, or on the top level, like anxiety, depression, insomnia, fear. But underneath, we really don't know why we feel that way, right? Is this making sense? And frequently, there's like a lot of repressed anger underneath that top level, right? So let's share a little bit about my process yesterday and what led to this. I was feeling upset about something in my life, and I decided to just journal and to just write and to give myself free rein. And I realized I was incredibly angry about something. Doesn't really matter what it was, but I was really angry. So I just let it fly for 20 minutes. And then I gave myself permission to say it out loud. And as I said it out loud, I realized how angry I was about the situation. And then I gave myself permission, as if I was in a therapy session, to go through this on my own and to beat up the bed. And immediately after this whole thing, which took about 20 minutes, I felt better. And I was like, holy crap, I need to write about this. I need to post about this. Now, I've been to a ton of therapy, so there's a backstory where I'm used to processing at this level. But this is such an important topic, and that I was reminded in my own journey yesterday what a vital topic this is, and how many of us have repressed anger and repressed rage, and we're manifesting it like in career burnout or depression or anxiety or something else. So your questions are below. I know a bunch of you are here. Please feel free to type in questions too. So I want to cover a lot of things today, like what is sacred rage, what is feminine awakening, why all this matters, and who this is for. So sacred rage, there's the rage that's like the everyday anger, right? There's the rage that's like the guy in the traffic jam just yelling. That's everyday rage. Sacred rage is rage that's being held in a healing or transformational container with the purpose of clearing it from your body and some other change in your life. So I'm going to go through that again. Everyday rage is like yelling in a traffic jam. Sacred rage is when you become aware that you're angry about something where you were probably very wronged. This might be abuse or trauma. It might be anything else. And then your anger is held in a healing or therapeutic or transformational container, either on your own or with a coach or a shaman or a therapist. And some sort of healing or change process is done in order to convert that rage into something else. Hey Rebecca, nice to see you, love. Is this making sense so far, you guys? So that's the difference between ordinary rage and sacred rage. And culturally, we think of rage as a bad thing, like the guy in traffic. And I really need to say that giving yourself permission to begin to step into this realm of sacred rage. And if you're new, for the love of goddess, please find a really good facilitator or someone to work with. Can change your whole world. And I'll leave it at that for right now. I wanted to touch upon what is feminine awakening because it's sacred rage for feminine awakening. right? And I did take notes, so I'm going to glance down. I do have a little outline here. Within all of us, we have an inner feminine principle and an inner masculine principle, an inner feminine energy and an inner masculine energy. And that's true whatever your gender identity is. So this is true for women. This is true for all beings with an inner feminine. The feminine principle usually has to do with receptivity, flow, creativity. It also houses aspects of our sensuality and personal self-expression. So when rage is suppressed or held under the covers or not expressed, it shuts down very particular energy channels. As women, it can shut down our sexuality. As women, it can shut down our sensuality. As women, or even men with a strong inner feminine, or any gender, it can shut down our creative self-expression. Like, you know that moment of inspiration where you're like, gotta do this thing, and it's creative, and it's out there, and it's like, boom. Like, that's a part of your feminine, your inner feminine. Or the way that some people can just receive, like, huge amounts of love or money. Like, that receptive is also the inner feminine. So when rage is tightly held and not released, it can shut down all of that movement and energy and flow. Okay, any questions so far? So that's the connection that unwinding and releasing and expressing the sacred rage can start to wake up these pieces of all of us. This live stream is for you if you are a feminine leader, if you are a coach, a teacher, a therapist, a healer, a psychotherapist, if you are a woman or a man who has been too into being good and nice, like the good girl, you know, or too nice as a man or whatever, and has been afraid to unleash your inner dynamism or your inner power on a deeper level. So it's for you if you're any of these things. So this live stream is really, really, really for you if you're like a feminine leader, a coach, a visionary, an educator, a teacher, a minister, and you've been too nice and too in your own box and too in your own corner, and you know that there's so much more of you waiting to be expressed, and you're having a really hard time accessing it, and you're not sure why. So that's who this live stream is for. What happens when you do this work being the finding and expressing of sacred rage and awakening your inner feminine? You know, I could tell you guys, or I could give an experiential, so let's do both. Is that you start to find more of your power, you start to find more of your authority, and there's like this clarity on your life's work or life's purpose or life's mission that starts to rise up and out. It starts to make itself known. And there's a lot more I could say on this. You can begin to heal a lot of your relationships with men. So as you tap into this sacred rage, as you tap into this, there's also this clarity that can happen in relationships where your relationships are wounded or stuck. And as the rage is unwound and released and your inner knowing is awakened, you sort of just begin to know what to say to your partner to heal the situation, or what to say to your friend to heal the situation, or what you even really want or need, like what your true desires are, whether those desires are in relationship or sensual or sexual or even about your life purpose or business. You start to like wake up this clarity of knowing, and then the inspired action steps start to arise. So that's a part of what begins to happen as you journey down this path and do this work. I'm seeing a whole bunch of you here and no questions yet. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to invite you to an experiential, which is going to explain this much more than words can, whether you're with me live or on the replay. Hello, someone else just joined us. Hi, Hafroon. I don't know how to say your name. Maria. Hello, welcome. So I'm going to give you a little piece of this work right now so you can start to feel it in your body. Begin to notice a part of your physical body, that feels tense or tight. And then take a couple of deep breaths. And put your hands on the part of your physical body that might feel tense or tight. I'll do my heart. My heart is not feeling tense, but I'll just be with you. And then feel for connecting your deep breath to that body part. Now, if you're brand new to this, you might need to visualize or pretend. And that's perfectly okay. So if you just hopped on, we're talking about accessing anger in your body and what to do with it, how to express it. So to the best of your capacity, you have hands on your body part that feels tense or tight. You're breathing deeply, and you're feeling for connecting to that body part that feels tight or tense. And then start to notice if any feelings or words or emotions arise. Now, I'm going to stand up here, you guys. I'll feel if there's a good demo I could do. I'm going to stand up here, you guys. Start to notice if any feelings or emotions or words, hey, Destiny, hey, Caitlin, arise. Now, I'm presuming you're alone. Start to give them a voice. I'm going to do this with you, and you might be finding anger in your body. It might be something else. Start to give them a voice and maybe movement. So if I tune into my heart, there's a part of me that's like, I don't have enough love. And I'm like getting into that with my body, like I don't have enough love. And I'm saying it out loud, like, I don't have enough love. And I'm expressing that through my body. And if yours is anger, it might be like you're in your heart and you're feeling, and the voice might be like, no. No. So the anger might have a different feeling state. So give yourself a moment to play with that. And if you're just hopping on, the directions are a couple minutes before this. Okay. So I just wanted to take you guys into that for a moment. What happens when this can get pretty big, like your no, if you had anger in your body or in your heart, your no could translate into like, no mom, leave me alone, or don't go away, or something really big. So that's a journey really that you can start to explore on your own or with a mentor or coach or therapist. What happens as you go deeper, because when you work with somebody in a session mode or as a coach, you're going to go 1,000 times deeper, is you keep going with that kind of process and you keep going and you keep going. And then a much deeper truth arises. Like you're like, crap, that thing that you've been trying to figure out about like your relationship or your work or your job or your life path or why you're stressed out, all of a sudden you keep going, you go through those layers, then boom, you have the answer. Boom, you're in your intuition. Boom, you know what to do with your life. Boom, you know who you are. But it's a journey down through those emotional layers, and that was like the first 1%. You guys following? Okay. So that's the process of unwinding the rage and beginning to wake up the feminine, beginning to reawaken your life force, beginning to reawaken your intuition, your wisdom, your knowing. Are there any questions so far? So I want to give you guys like a much longer real world story or example of this. I had a client and we did half a year of work like this. And she was holding a lot of stuff in her body that she was angry about. It doesn't really matter. It was past traumatic events. And we did this again and again and again and again and again. And one of the things she realized was she needed to set boundaries with her mother, that she wasn't happy with her husband, that she needed to talk to her husband and change the terms of the relationship, that then their relationship improved, that then she got clarity on what she was doing with her career. You know, she was murky, and then she got onto the anger, peeled away the layers, got mad at her mom's stuff, set clarity with her husband, got clear on her career, expanded its direction, and so on. So it's like this whole trajectory that spirals outwards. And that's the personal end. Now, the cultural end, and this is a lot deeper, and I'll be getting into this more on calls that I have upcoming. Some material I'll be doing soon about sacred feminine, sacred masculine, that will either be live streams or calls. But there's a cultural framework for this too. It's not like just you and your parents' story or you and the schools. In our conventional here and now culture, women have been taught to silence their anger. They've been taught to silence their sexuality. We've been taught to silence our creativity. We've been taught to even silence like our financial prowess. And a lot of this, yes, it's the personal family thing. Yes, it's the school system, but there's a much larger context than whatever the personal is. There's the context of the Judeo-Christian religious system and the whole God the Father and the erasure and forgottenness of the divine feminine or sacred feminine principle in our culture and our religious background. So this is a much, much larger social issue. Hey, Tina! So this is a much, much, much larger social issue of having locked up rage in our bodies, and the shutdown feminine comes, yes, from the personal, the mom, the dad, the schools, but then if you trace it back, we're in a society where we're not all Jewish or Christian, but that's the overall Western world thing, is the Judeo-Christian thing. And what did they do? They made Eve a sinner or something. They made woman bad. They made the flesh sin. There's a huge tie-in between Judeo-Christian religion and patriarchal systems of power and control, whether those are financial, social, school-based, economic, all of it. There's a huge, huge, huge tie-in there. And they took out Lilith, who was Eve's predecessor, and if you look her up, she was one powerful, badass woman. So this conditioning of women shutting down their power, women shutting down our anger, women shutting down our voices has such a vast context that's so beyond the personal, and not really what this live stream is about, but I wanted to touch upon it, before the other lives. Okay. That's most of what I had to say today. I think I've been on for, 20 minutes? I was going to get into my story, but I don't feel like that's so relevant today. Does anybody have questions? There's been about 10 or 12 of you off and on here. I did want to mention that if you scroll down about 3 posts under this live, I have a posting about what working with me in my coaching practice looks like, the stages I take you through, the results you can expect. I'm not going to get into that here, but go down about 3 posts. I'm laying out step by step by step the process that I take my clients through, what results occur at each stage generally, and the investment. I do have 3 spaces open for private mentorship with me right now. They're 90 days each, $4,500 a piece. So please hit me up if you have questions about that. Hey, Chanel. Or questions about this live stream, or questions about anything else. Chanel, we're just about wrapping up, love, but you're welcome to watch the replay, and you're welcome to swing me any questions you have below, or yeah. Okay, so are there any questions? Okay, loves. Give you another minute. Okay, thank you so much for hopping on. If you missed this or joined at the very end, I know Tina and Chanel just joined, please go back to the beginning, because I'm walking you through a whole process in this live. Okay. Lots of love from Maui. Have a great day.